the benefit of no contact and the impact on no contact. I'll explain today a story from a client of mine. I spoke with her yesterday and I wanted to create this video because I thought her story will really give you more information, more insights on the benefits of no contact if you want to get back with your ex, if you want to feel better. I'll explain everything after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
Before I start, and very quickly, I want to remind you that I put together a quiz for you to know if you have any chance to get back with your ex. My clients had a score of 20, for example, and the idea is to really assess whether your relationship is recoverable or not. Okay, you might be doing no contact, but you might be doing no contact. It doesn't mean anything because you will have no chance of getting back with your ex. So have a look in the description. There's a link. It takes 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops to answer this quiz, and you get an answer in your inbox right away. Actually, you get the answer without directly on the screen. You don't have to get it into your inbox. So her name, I changed the names. So Kat and Ashley. They've been together for 10 years and her ex-girlfriend cheated on her. They had couple counseling when they were together before the breakup. And the problem with Kat and Ashley is that Ashley sort of hid the fact that he was cheating on her. When they had these counseling sessions, they are madly in love, but there's something around the trust. You know, the trust was broken. It was very hard for Kat to forgive Ashley's behavior. Kat wants to forgive, but it's really, really hard. And we'll explain you what's going on in the dynamic. So the post-breakup, they've been separated for 6 months now. Always in touch because they want to work on the relationship. So they're in really good terms. No animosity, nothing. They don't yell at each other. They are kind of this vibe of we are friends and we get along and we do things together. We have friends together. We talk about deep stuff together. It's kind of, I call that the friendship with no benefit. But the problem is that Kat felt that she was the only one trying to find solutions. You know, she was the one with, let's talk about deep stuff, let's talk about your fear, let's be vulnerable. Whereas like Ashley, she's more sort of dismissive, avoidant, was really struggling to address and to speak about those things. The insecurities that she had, you know, she had this kind of disorganized behavior. You know, one day she'll be super excited, the other day she'll be super cool. One day she'll talk about a project. One day she'll be like, no, I don't want to do this. And so it's very hard for Kat to really grasp what she's at, where she's doing. One day she'll be very flirty, the other day she'll be super distant. And what we could see, we could assess is that the level of investment was not the same. You know, Kat was really much about solution oriented, whereas like Ashley was more problem oriented. She was only showing us, giving us sort of, oh, I have this problem. It's too complicated. I don't know. Whereas like Kat was like, okay, let's take action. Let's do something. Okay. And so the dynamic is we had those strong insecurities in both of them. Ashley has had a traumatic experiences in her life and is struggling to get close to people. It's really hard for her to build strong connection, to open up, to share her feelings, and to build something substantial. She was with Kat for many years, but it was very hard for Kat to connect at a deeper level. And Kat, at the same time, she's very secure as a person. She was very secure, but the breakup created a form of anxiety. She actually developed social anxiety as the result of the breakup. It's not very uncommon to see that people develop these kind of conditions after a breakup because it's kind of traumatic, because it's also challenging a lot of the things, a lot of our belief system. And sometimes people tend to be more anxious than they were or develop, in the case of Kat, this social anxiety. And so they stayed in touch, and the impact of staying in touch was that Kat felt they were making progress. They were discussing about things, they had a good relationship. They were not, because I know some of my clients, they're in touch with the ex, it doesn't go well. For them, it was really, they had nice time when they were together. But this breakup created that strong anxiety, as I discussed, And it was very hard for her to deal with the silence between messages. So they would basically see each other and then they would text each other, or they would say like, let's go to a party on Saturday. And Kat wouldn't hear from Ashley for a few days. And that would freak her out because she would think, what is she up to? What's going on? I need to text her. I want to text her. And it's creating this vicious circle. I want to hear from her because I want to have this sense of control, right? As if we are together. A little bit this sense of possession that we all have when we're with someone. But I can't hear from her. She must be with someone else. Deception, rejection. I thought I had her. I thought I possessed her. I exaggerate, obviously. And now I feel rejected. Now I feel dismissed. And therefore, I need to call her. I need to confront her. I need to know. Because it drives me mad. Okay? And when you do that, the response from Ashley was like, you know what? You're so stressful. You're so annoying. I was just with my friends. Or I was just working. It's so annoying. I've had 10 missed calls from you and I was driving and I couldn't pick the phone. I can't be with someone like this. And it makes the recovery even harder, right? And so I advised Kat to start no contact because I knew it wouldn't harm the recovery and it would actually, because as a counselor, I know that the anxiety took its source from those moments of uncertainty, those moments of silence. It's very hard to handle silence. And so no contact, I think the assumption that we made is like no contact will actually, even if it's silence, it's controlled silence. Okay? You're the master, you have set up the rules, right? And the impact of going no contact, and I quote her, and I think that's very important, that's why I'm making this video, because that's how she felt, that's the results she saw. A huge sense of relief. All that pressure of what she's up to, what's going on. Should I send her a message? Should I follow up? What's going on? I sent 2 messages. She doesn't send a message. Weirdly enough, I feel better and don't worry about where she's at or who she sees. So it's very interesting because when you're in touch with your ex, you have those expectations, but as soon as you switch to no contact, those expectations are gone and you stop worrying. And the worry creates that anxiety. The worry creates that depression phase sometimes that we have. So it's very important. That's why no contact is so helpful. What happened as well is that very quickly, Ashley started to get in touch. She started to be more proactive, leading the conversation, taking initiatives. We started from a phase where Kat was always initiating, always coming up with solutions. Let's go and see a counselor. Let's go and do this. Let's plan this. And she stopped doing this. And what happened is Ashley started to take a little bit of space, right? Because it's also, if you leave that space to your partner, to your ex, they would feel more confident to use that space. And when they saw each other, obviously, they seemed way more invested. So it's really about the investment. If you overinvest in your ex, if you overinvest the space, you don't let any room for them to try things out, to express things. It's a little bit, see it as a conversation. If you're the only one speaking, how can you blame your ex not wanting to open up to you? Okay, if you're dating an avoidant person and you feel like he's not telling me anything, we are, going on dates for 2 hours and I'm the only one speaking. It's a bit your problem, right? It's about asking the right questions and listening, tuning in. Maybe you have a tendency to be more of an extrovert and your ex an introvert, but you can't blame them for not speaking out if you are taking the space, if you are speaking on their behalf. Okay, and that's what also no contact can create in this dynamic. And I think there's one no contact per relationship, but I wanted to highlight this because I think it's fairly common in a lot of dynamic where we feel like we overinvest and we create that sense of anxiety because as we overinvest and we don't have the response we expect, we put our expectations super high because it's someone that matters, and we also put high expectations on ourselves, but we don't get anything in return. And that creates anxiety. And this anxiety creates behaviors that are actually pushing our ex further away, because they don't want to have someone calling us 10 times because we haven't picked up the phone. And by doing no contact, bam, we reset everything and we leave that space for the other to show that, okay, I want to do this thing. I want to see you. Now that I see you, because I had this craving to see you, I'm more invested, I'm more in the here and now. So it's very important. So should you go no contact? That's a big question. It's a dynamic, it's an adaptable approach. Some cases it's good to go no contact, some cases, no, stay in contact with your ex. It depends. I know a lot of people, they call me, they're in no contact, and I tell them, why are you in no contact? Because I've listened to tips online. It's like, okay, but in your case, you should not go no contact. And then they called me back 2 days ago, wow, hopefully I listened to your tips because now we're in touch. I'm going to see her next week and we're going to have this dinner and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it really depends. No contact, it helps when, for example, you have this dynamic that I explained. It's a great tool to create that emotional distance. If you are confused, if you don't know exactly if that's the right move or not, get in touch with me. There's a link in the description to have these, it's like free calls where you can call me. It's 15 minutes. We're going to get together to discuss your situation, to discuss how I can help you, if coaching is the right thing for you, if no contact is the right approach, but at least you'll have a tailored approach based on your situation. Whew, I should breathe a bit when I do my video. If you like this video, click on the like button because I might do other content on case studies because I think that's quite helpful. So I'm testing this new format with you. Let me know in the comment section if it helped you as well, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.